Hey guys, what's up? Back with another video. This time we got another review from the year of 2018. We have WWE Extreme Rules from 2018 as the cover right there. It looks pretty cool. They got a bunch of stars from matches. We'll get into it. Let's get into it, shall we? Let's kick off the show. Let's get immediately into it. We kick off the show with the the Raw tag team titles on the line as the champions Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy defending the Raw tag team titles against the B team of Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. This was a fine opener. Didn't go that long, maybe about 6 or 7 minutes if that. And surprisingly, the B team were able to pick up the victory to become the new tag team champions, which was kind of a shame because on pay-per-view wise in 2018, Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt had only just won the tag titles at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and they had not defended the titles on pay-per-view since then, which is too much of a shame. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to have Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt wrestling each other. Seeing how they're brothers. But apart from that, it was kind of a fight. It was a fine match, but I feel like they could have done more with Matt Hardy and Bray as tag team champions. Out of the boundaries, but it is what it is. It was a fine opener. Let's move on. Next match, we have Finn Balor taking on Constable Baron Corbin. It was a fight. Again, this was an average, a fine matchup, a fun, fine match. Silly storyline where Baron Corbin was targeting Finn Balor because he was small, claiming that Finn Balor was small. Apart from that, it was okay. The match, I like the finish because it played into the whole smallness, where Finn Balor rolled up Baron Corbin with the small package. Kind of a cheeky nod there. It was okay. I thought it was fine. Good in-ring action there. Next match we had Carmella versus Asuka for the SmackDown Women's title in a rematch with James Ellsworth in a shark cage. This was stupid, man. It was a stupid match. Ellsworth immediately tried to escape the cage. Then he did escape the cage. Asuka got distracted, which led to Carmella throwing Asuka into the side of the shark cage, allowing Carmella to win the match. Silly booking. It was a bit of a lot of nonsense, and I didn't like it. It made Asuka look pathetic. 2 pay-per-views in a row. It made Asuka look pathetic. Anyway, next match, we have the United States Championship on the line. Jeff Hardy defending the United States title against Shinsuke Nakamura. Wasn't much of a match. Shinsuke low-blowed him before the match. Jeff Hardy said he could continue. Nakamura hit the Kinshasa and got the pin and won the United States title. So, wasn't much of a match, nothing much to say about that one. And then, of course, Randy Orton came in afterwards and turned heel on Jeff Hardy, giving him another kick to the balls. So, not a good night for Jeff Hardy's bull, if you're Jeff Hardy's bulls, but that's another case for another time, right? Then we had the next match. We had the steel cage match. We had Braun Strowman taking on Kevin Owens in a steel cage match. This was fun. I really love this match. Braun Strowman is just, I love Braun Strowman just causing chaos and carnage. Awesome stuff. And I loved Kevin Owens selling the fear of getting into the cage with Braun Strowman. And it was really good stuff. Kevin Owens tried to run away and tried to handcuff Braun at points, and it ended with a horrific bump from Kevin Owens, as you can see right there on the side of the spine. There's Braun Strowman on top of the cage, and there's Kevin Owens falling from above. There you go. There's a much clearer thingy. Kevin Owens being thrown off the cage. It was a horrific bump, but Braun Strowman cared more about hurting Kevin Owens than winning the match. It was a sick looking bump and a memorable looking bump as well. So pretty cool stuff. As we move on, we have Daniel Bryan and Kane versus the Bludgeon Brothers for the SmackDown tag team titles. they worked around the Kane's limitations because Kane had an ankle injury. So they worked around the limitations where Daniel Bryan basically worked most of the match in a handicap match against the Bludgeon Brothers, and then Kane came in a bit later, with a working boot on, and the Bludgeon Brothers ended up retaining. It was an okay match. It was really easy to have Daniel Bryan as the underdog. It was just a little bit of a baffling decision to have Daniel Bryan be the one that takes the pin, rather than Kane, especially when Kane isn't going to be around after this. Would have been a lot easier to have Kane take the pin, considering he was already injured anyway. But it is what it is. Nothing, that's just a bit of a nitpick right there for me. It is what it is. Anyway, next match we have Roman Reigns taking on Bobby Lashley. This had a big time feel to it. Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns. I would love to see this match nowadays, especially now that Roman's a heel and Bobby Lashley is kind of the almighty Bobby Lashley and all that stuff. Found a character and all that stuff. But yeah, this match was alright. It was very slow to start with, but then eventually towards the end it picked up really good with some really big falls. And very surprisingly, Bobby Lashley was able to pick up the win, which is very surprising considering where we were going direction-wise with Roman facing Brock at SummerSlam the next month, at the next pay-per-view after this. And Bobby Lashley's not even on SummerSlam. I don't think so anyway. I think it may have something to do with Elias, maybe a concert something, but that's near nor there. Anyway, he's not got a match at SummerSlam 2018, so very surprising result, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing this again. I wouldn't mind seeing these two lock horns in 2023. Very surprised that they haven't done that yet, especially with Roman being the tribal chief and Bobby Lashley being the almighty. So yeah, pretty cool. Next match we have Alexa Bliss versus Nia Jax for the Raw Women's title in a Extreme Rules match. This was exactly what it needed to be, a time filler match to get where we needed to go, with Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss being the target for SummerSlam. So this was just the rematch to get Nia Jax out of the way. It was an okay match. The numbers game got the better of Nia Jax with Mickie James. Sorry, not Becky Lynch. Mickie James getting involved. And Alexa retained, and now we're on to Ronda Rousey versus Alexa at SummerSlam next on the next review. Speaking of the next match, sorry, that was not a good cliche. That was not a good segue. Sorry. We have AJ Styles against Rusev. This was okay. A fun match for the WWE Championship. I love the way that Rusev sold the knee. AJ worked over the knee a little bit, and it stopped Rusev from doing the accolade because he couldn't put weight on his knee. Good stuff right there. But in the end, the result was never the result was never in doubt of where this was going. AJ retaining, and it's just a shame that this will be the end of Rusev's kind of main event if you want to call it main event title picture. Yeah, because after this, Rusev's kind of just flayed into obscurity. So. Which is a shame, but it is what it is. A sad Rusev Day. And then, of course, that leads us to the main event. We have Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins in a 30-minute Ironman match for the Intercontinental Championship. Boy, howdy, where do I start with this one? Oh, man. It was a mess. I don't blame the wrestlers involved. The two guys went in there and they had a great 30-minute Ironman match. It's just, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the fact that it was at the end of a 3.5 hour pay-per-view, or it was having a 30-minute Ironman match at the end of a 3.5 hour pay-per-view, or the fact that the crowd were just decided that they didn't need to pay attention for most of the match. So they decided to do the Royal Rumble countdown for the entire match, starting at the 25-minute mark. And they went the entire time to the point where WWE took the clock off the screen so they couldn't do it anymore. But that just angered the crowd a little bit. And the crowd decided to just start counting at random times, which, as you can imagine, really was off-putting when you're trying to watch the actual match, which is really good stuff from Dolph and Seth, but unfortunately, the crowd hijacked the match and hijacked the show, and I really don't know how to feel about it, you know what I mean? Like, years ago, I actually was on the crowd side, because I remember seeing the results, I was like, man, the crowd had every right to do that, because you know, they had terrible booking after terrible booking after terrible booking all night, and then this was the main event, a 30-minute Ironman match. So they played up. But now that I've actually gone back and watched the events in its entirety, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about this. Like I don't blame the performers. The performers had a really good match, solid in-ring action that was overshadowed by the nonsense of whatever was going on with the crowd and the clock. Which is a shame, you know. Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler main eventing in a half an hour match has the potential to be like a wrestling purist's dream, but unfortunately it's always going to be remembered for this clock business with the countdown, doing the Royal Rumble countdown, like every so yeah. And anyway, Dolph Ziggler would retain after sudden death. They went 4-4 to a 30-minute draw, and then Kurt Angle came out and announced it was going to be sudden death, and then Dolph Ziggler would win after a distraction from Drew McIntyre. So, Dolph would retain. The match itself was very solid. As I said, it's going to be overshadowed by the crowd hijacking the match with the countdown. But apart from that, solid stuff. As for the show itself, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. The main event could have, if I was paying more attention to the crowd than it was the actual match, I think I probably would have given this a lower score than 7. But for the most part, I actually enjoyed the show. I thought it was pretty decent stuff. It's just a shame that for some reason, maybe all the reasons above, the crowd decided to hijack the show at the end, which is too much of a shame, because they didn't hijack every single match, or they weren't playing up all night long. They just decided to pick this 30-minute Ironman match to play up on, which is a shame, but that is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Good show. Can't wait for the next one, which will be SummerSlam. See you guys in a bit. Tell me what you think in the comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of the if you've seen the match. Tell me what you think in the comments about the clock and the hijacking the show. Tell me what you think in the comments. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you guys on the next one, which will be SummerSlam. Until then, have a nice day. See you guys next time, and I'm out.